In this video, we will talk about photoelectric effect. What is photoelectric effect? What is photoelectric effect? So, what we can say that photoelectric effect is an effect where when a light is incident on some material surface and electrons are ejected from the metal surface. This phenomena is called photoelectric effect. Or you can say when light is irradiated on a metal surface, then photons collide with the electrons on the metal surface and make them free to come on the surface, and these electrons move with some kinetic energy, and this phenomena is called photoelectric effect, and the electrons emitted are called photoelectrons. This effect was first observed by Hertz in 1887. Now, to study the photoelectric effect, we will talk about an experimental setup. In this setup, we have two electrodes, one cathode and one anode, which are evacuated in a glass tube. Where cathode is maintained at a negative potential and anode is maintained at a positive potential. With the help of a battery. And a galvanometer is connected to detect the current because of these photoelectrons. When light is irradiated on the metal surface of cathode, then electrons are emitted and these electrons move towards the anode. This is anode and this is cathode. And this all setup is enclosed in a glass tube. And a current is set up in the circuit, and this current is called photoelectric current. Now we will again talk about the setup, that is the setup of photoelectric current. So having a relook, we have a cathode C and anode A. These are connected through the battery, where cathode is maintained at a negative potential and the anode is maintained at a positive potential with the help of the battery. We have also connected a galvanometer G, which is used to detect or measure the current emitted because of this photoelectric effect. When light is incident on the metal surface, then the photons in the light, because we know light is made up of photons, then the photons in the light interact with the electrons, or we can say that they collide with the electrons, and and they provide energy to the electrons, and electrons are emitted, and because of this positive potential these electrons are getting accelerated. Because of the positive potential of anode, these electrons are getting accelerated towards the anode, and when they came into the circuit they constitute a current, and this current is called photoelectric current. Photoelectric current. Now this arrow shows a variable battery. In the beginning we are keeping fixed the potential for the anode, and we are using the light of some appropriate frequency, or we can correspondingly say of some appropriate wavelength, and the intensity and the frequency of this light is kept constant, and also the potential is initially at constant. So electrons which are emitted, not all but a fraction of electrons, photoelectrons, will be collected, and these electrons will show some current in the galvanometer. Now what we will do, we will increase the potential, the positive potential of the anode A with respect to the cathode. When potential is increased, that is electrons are getting more accelerated, like the velocity or acceleration you can say is increasing, and so more and more electrons are getting collected, and as we increase the potential difference between anode and cathode, then because of increase in the potential difference, positive potential difference of the anode with respect to cathode, the electrons which are emitted, that is every electron which is emitted because of this irradiated light, they all are getting collected at the anode, and a current which is shown that reaches to a saturation value. Means we can say when potential is increased, potential difference of anode is increased to a level where all the electrons are getting collected, then that current is called the saturation current. Now when saturation current is established, and still if we are increasing the potential difference, the positive potential difference of the anode, then again the electrons, since all the electrons emitted are being collected at the anode and current is shown in the galvanometer, no further increase is observed, and this current is called saturation current because all the electrons emitted are being collected. So after saturation value, if we are again increasing the potential difference to giving positive potential difference to anode, the further change is not observed in the photoelectric current. Now we will talk about what will happen if this anode which is at positive potential with respect to the cathode, and now we are going to change this anode to the negative potential with respect to the cathode. Means now we are not using this positive, we are going to give this a negative potential, a negative, when we are keeping anode A at a negative potential with respect to the cathode C. Now what will happen if the potential of anode is negative? If the potential of anode is negative with respect to the cathode, means we are not using this positive, but the sign is reversed. Cathode is at positive potential and anode is at negative potential. Then in that case, what will happen? Since these electrons are negatively charged and they are coming towards the anode, which is at a negative potential. So at this anode, which can also be called the collector electrode, the negative potential will repel the electrons which are coming towards the anode, since they are of the same nature. This is negative and this is also a negative charge, so that will repel the electrons. It means the emission of electrons and the free movement of the electrons will be obstructed and repelled. So if we are increasing the negative potential of the anode, as we are increasing the negative potential of the anode, these electrons emission is suppressed, and at a level or at a fixed value or at some value, at some certain value of the negative potential of the anode with respect to the cathode, the emission of electrons will be stopped, and that voltage, say V naught, will be called stopping potential, or cutoff potential. Stopping potential or cutoff potential. And what is this stopping potential or cutoff potential? It is the value of negative potential difference of anode A with respect to cathode C, at which the emission of electrons just stopped. And we can say at this case the maximum kinetic energy of electrons will be equal to EV naught, that is energy because of that potential V naught. So we have half mv max square is equal to EV naught, where E is electronic charge of electron, that is equal to 1.6 into 10 raised to power minus 19 coulomb. V naught, as we know, is stopping potential, that is the potential at which the emission of electrons is stopped, stopping potential. Then there is mass, this is mass m, that is mass of electron, the electrons which are moving, these electrons which are moving, that is mass of electron, and B max is the velocity, maximum velocity of the electrons, maximum velocity of the electrons. So from here we can say half mv max square is equal to EV naught, and this is maximum kinetic energy, because half mv square is energy, kinetic energy of any particle, and here we are talking about the kinetic energy, or we can say more categorically the maximum kinetic energy of electrons, which will be equal to the stopping potential into electronic charge, that energy which is provided by this anode to suppress the emission of the electrons. Now we will talk about the explanation of photoelectric effect on the basis of Einstein, and Einstein gave a photoelectric equation. So we will talk about Einstein's photoelectric equation. Einstein's photoelectric equation. So what Einstein said, that light is made up of photons, that is Einstein used Planck's quantum theory to give the explanation for the photoelectric effect, and Einstein proposed that every light is made up of quantas. And what are quantas? Those are electric or energy packets, which are also called electromagnetic energy packets, and more precisely they are called photons, that is particles of the light, photons. So photon, that is particles of light. Like every electromagnetic wave is made up of particles, and these particles are called photons. So, and the energy of these photons is dependent on the frequency, and every photon has some energy E is equal to h nu, which is dependent on frequency, or which is categorized by the frequency nu. Now what will happen if light is fall? Like when we are talking of photoelectric effect, to explain the photoelectric effect, we know what is photoelectric effect. That is when some light is falling on the metal surface or some material surface. As we have seen here, that light was falling on the material surface. So that material surface, when light is falling, what is happening there? Because we know the surface will be having electrons, and those electrons will be bound by the surface. And if we want to free the electron, or we want to emit the electron, then what will be required? Then some energy will be required to break the bonds with the surface, and that energy which is used for making free the electron, or to break the bonds of the electron with the surface and bring it on the surface, that energy is called the work function, and that depends on the material of the substance, like surface of the material. For different surfaces, the work function will be different, and this work function is called W, that is work function. Work function, that is some energy which is required to break the bonds of the electron and bring it on the surface. And when photon is colliding with the electron, suppose photon of energy E is equal to h nu. Photon of energy E equal to h nu is colliding with the surface. Then what will happen? there will be some work function which will require to break the bond of the electron or make free the electron, and then the remaining energy will provide the kinetic energy to the electron. So we can say, suppose for breaking this bonding of electron, that is the work function is having some energy with some particular wavelength nu naught. Suppose W is equal to h nu naught, where nu naught is threshold frequency. So we can say nu naught is the threshold frequency. Then we can say that this is the minimum frequency which is required to break the bonds or to make free the electron, so that electron can come on the surface. And when some photon is having more energy, that is when nu is greater than nu naught, that is a photon is having more energy, then this energy will provide some kinetic energy to the electron. So we can say that the energy, so we can say that the kinetic energy or the maximum kinetic energy of the electron will be equal to maximum kinetic energy of the electron will be equal to half mv max square will be equal to h nu minus w, where h nu is energy of the photon and w is the work function which is required to free the electron. So the remaining energy which will be available with the electron when it is ejected, that will be the difference of total energy of the photon minus the work function. And since we know w is equal to h nu naught, so we can say this half mv max square is equal to h nu minus h nu naught, which is equal to h nu minus nu naught. And this is the Einstein's photoelectric equation in terms of maximum kinetic energy and frequencies. Now when we are taking, since we know half mv max square is also equal to ev naught, what we have seen earlier, this is equal to ev naught. So we can also write ev naught is equal to h nu minus nu naught. So this is the second form of Einstein's photoelectric equation. This is the second form of Einstein's photoelectric equation, because we know half mv max square is equal to ev naught. So this equation is this and this. These are the Einstein's photoelectric equation. These are the two forms of Einstein's photoelectric equation. Now from here we can say the factors on which photoelectric effect depend are: number one, that is intensity of incident radiation. Intensity of incident radiation. So what is intensity of incidence radiation, or how we can say what is intensity is? Intensity is nothing but number of photons per unit volume in a given light. When we are taking some light, then how many number of photons are present in per unit volume of the light, that is called the intensity of the light or incident radiation. If photons are high, then the intensity is high, and if the number of photons is less per unit volume, then the intensity is low. And we can see if intensity is increasing, it means number of photons are increasing, and the chances of collision of these photons with the electrons of the surface material are increasing. So we can say that emission of electrons or photoelectrons emitted are directly proportional to the intensity of the incident radiation. So we will get the graph for this. If we are taking intensity on the x-axis and photoelectric current on the y-axis, then we can say, since there is proportionality of photoelectron emission or photoelectric current with the intensity of light, so we will have a straight line graph like this. Now the second factor on which the photoelectric effect depends, that is effect of potential difference. Of potential difference. Potential difference, that is the potential between the anode and the cathode. Anode is emitter surface and the cathode is collector surface. Emitter surface or cathode, where light will incident or light will be irradiated and photons will collide with the electron and emit electrons. That is the cathode, and the anode, where the electrons will be collected and pass through the circuit and give or detect, and the current will be measured or detected by the galvanometer. That is, we can say anode is the collector surface. So the potential difference between the anode and cathode, and if the positive potential, as we have already talked about, if the positive potential between the anode and cathode, means if we are having anode at positive potential and cathode as negative potential, and the positive potential of the anode is increased, then a saturation level is reached and we get the saturation current. And if negative potential on the anode is increased, that is, we are suppressing the emission of the electrons, photoelectrons, then in that case we will go towards the stopic potential level. So we can say that potential difference is having some effect on the photoelectric effect, because if potential difference is increasing, then we are going towards the saturation level, and if potential difference is decreasing, then we are going towards the stopping potential level. So we can say that we will have a graph like this. This is voltage on x-axis. We are having voltage or potential on the x-axis, which is denoted as B, and we are having some B naught. If we start from this thing, we will have I, this is photoelectric current, and this is minus P naught, that is stopic potential. So we can have for different energies different stopping potential. I1 and I2. If intensity is high, means I2 is greater than I1, then we will have a greater photoelectric current than that of I1. So this is effect of potential difference on photoelectric current. And the third one is effect of frequency. As we know, for any surface, emission of electron or photoelectrons is possible only when we are having a fixed or some threshold value or some appropriate value of frequency. Then only photoelectric emission is possible. Because in the beginning we will require some energy to free the electron, that energy which we talk about work function. So in the beginning we will be required to have some minimum energy so that we can break the bonds of the electron, and after that the electron with some energy will move with some kinetic energy, and that will be collected at the anode and give some current. That current can be measured by the galvanometer in the circuit. So, and if we are changing the frequency, then we are having, if we are changing the frequency, then the energy or the kinetic energy of the electrons will be changed. If we are increasing frequency, it means the energy of the photons is increasing. Ultimately, the maximum kinetic energy of the electrons is increasing, and then the potential, like stopic potential, will be increasing to the negative side. So we can have the variation like this. Nu 1 and nu 2. This is minus B naught 1 minus B naught 2. This is photoelectric current on y-axis and potential on x-axis. And similarly, we can have, if we are having different metal surfaces, then for two frequencies, nu 1 and nu 2, and this is maximum kinetic energy of mb max square. We will have, like here you can have b1 and b2, and frequency is nu 1 and nu 2 for different frequencies. We will have two different metal surfaces, and those metal surfaces will have different work function, and because of different work function we will have the graph like this. They will be parallel lines, but because of different material surfaces, they will have different kinetic energies, maximum kinetic energies of photoelectrons. So that's all for today. Thank you.